Hey, it's me. I'm hoping you'll allow me a little permission to vent, to rant, to steam just a little bit. And hopefully you'll hold on to the end here where you kind of will get to my overall point of everything I'm saying. Because there's been so much going on. And I have to admit there are some things that are incredibly frustrating me, annoying me, irritating me, getting me mad. And and there's a whole lot of stuff that just is driving me nuts, to be totally honest with you. One of the things that's happening with this whole coronavirus thing, we've got the safety orders, we have to keep our distances and the self-containment and all of that. But one of the things that's happening, especially in social media, is there is a ton of misinformation, of false information, of myths, of just outright lies in some cases. And it's kind of annoying me and frustrating me, especially when I see it from people who should be better, who should know better, who shouldn't be pushing some of this stuff. And it's really been kind of affecting me a little bit. Things like that telling churches they can't meet is an infringement of their rights of free speech. No, it's not. Nobody is telling you that you can't believe and can't worship what you want and can't do that. Public safety has to override. People saying it's never happened before. Well, go back and look at 1918 and 1919 when the Spanish flu went crazy and rampant in the country. And it really had a huge effect on churches. Churches closed. They all stayed closed because they didn't want people to die. Public safety has to come first. But then I see others that are saying, well, hey, this is a great way for the government to overtake and overwhelm and take control. And the funny thing is the people that are pushing these conspiracy theories that the government is using us to lock us down in our homes oftentimes are ones that are huge supporters of the president and his administration. So is it the president and his administration that you're supporting avidly doing this? Or is it somebody else he can't control? And what on earth would they gain if there's no economy and nobody working? And it makes no sense. None of it. And just repeated things like this. People saying it's not any more serious than the flu. And yet in the last week, we've had more people die than we have, well, more people in the last week from COVID in the United States than we have from flu or cancer. We're barely starting on the ramp. It's going to get really scary here, folks. People saying the people who are sick with it must not have had enough faith. I have seen some great people of God that I personally know, people of immense faith who've done extraordinary things, and they are fighting for their lives with this stuff right now. Just stuff that the people who are putting it out there should know better. They absolutely should know better. But there's some attitudes that they want to have their head buried in the sand. It's not fitting with their view of the world and their theology, so they can't admit it, and just various other things. And some of it, I hate to say this, and not in all cases, but some of it's just plain arrogance, where my rights to do what I want override your rights to not get sick and die. And that's just wrong. That's not loving your neighbor. The Bible is very clear that we are supposed to obey the authorities placed over us, especially in times of crisis. That includes local authorities, state authorities, national authorities, and church authorities as well. We are supposed to obey them. We're supposed to respect them. We're supposed to do as they ask us to do, as long as it isn't telling us to sin. And not gathering in a church building is not sinning. I wish we could get together in church. We do need each other, but we make adjustments and alternatives. Not being able to get together in a building is fine because the building isn't the church, it's the people, and the people can get together wherever and however, whether it's online, internet, Zoom conference, or whatever. We can still continue to build each other up, like we're doing with this. So, and you notice this hasn't been eliminated or deleted because it's against the law. Sorry, that's not happening. But what really bothers me is I do understand that some of the people that are saying these things are trying to do their best. None of us have ever pastored or ministered in an epidemic before. We've never done that kind of thing. This is not normal. And so There's a lot of us that, plain and simple, we're making this up as we go. We're trying to do the best we can. We're trying to adjust. We're trying to figure this out, and how can we do it safely, effectively, within the parameters, and yet still do what we need to do. And there's people that are struggling with that and worried, and I understand that a lot of them are sincere. And I have some very strong disagreements with some. And here's where my old fleshly nature comes in, where I want to just sit there and go, don't you get it? Are you being dumb? Are you that stupid? Yeah, I know. There's parts of me that want to do that, and it's not right. It's not good. We're supposed to be charitable towards each other, supposed to love each other. And when that attitude rises up in me, it's not right. But it's very hard because it makes me look at social media, in particular like Facebook and Twitter, and I want to ignore it because there's so much just stupidity on it. There really is. And yet at the same time, because I have a number of friends all over the world who are dealing with this directly, who have family members who are sick, people that I know that have it, I almost need to tune in to see how they're doing to be able to keep updated. And to get the updates, I'm having to deal with all the junk. And I get mad. I get frustrated. I want to scream and yell at them. The flesh rises up. And I have to be merciful. I have to be forgiving. It's hard. It's really hard when you see people leading people astray, maybe well-meaning, but still leading people astray. When you see people endangering other people's lives needlessly, I want to rise up in self-righteous indignation. And that's not what we're called to do. I want to correct them. I want to fix them. It's not what we're called to do. Especially because, yeah, there is actually the possibility I'm wrong. Oh my goodness, I know that's a scary thing. Because, in our subject, hey, I always know better. We're never wrong. Yeah, we might be. It may not be as bad as we think. It may be a whole lot worse than we think. We don't know. We don't know the future. He does. And I'm grateful he does, so I don't have to be responsible for it. But when these people do that, I have to forgive them. Now, I also have to take steps to make sure it isn't in a bad way with me. I've had to unfollow several people. I have actually had to unfriend a couple people because everything they were posting was just wrong. And that bothered me because they're people that I know. But at the same time, I have to do what I need to do to be able to keep my own attitude under control. And then I have to look at them and I have to forgive them. I have to pray for their safety. There are, I will admit, in the flesh, there are some that I'm like, man, you are putting all these people in danger. Wouldn't it serve you right if you got sick and all of them? Oh, bad. Because that's not what we're supposed to wish. I do wish they would learn, but I don't want them to suffer, and I don't want those around them to suffer. And that's just not good. So we need to be careful in all of this. I hear that grocery store clerks are being cussed at and yelled at because they don't have stuff in. The people that are out there working on the front lines who are giving of themselves are being treated poorly because they're having to deal with all this other junk. And I understand we're all stressed. We are all stressed. But let's try and remember, there were people, so were they. They're feeling the same things. They're stressed and anxious and worried and scared, just like many of us are. Let's take that into account. Let's remember the fruit of the Spirit. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, self-control. Let's be forgiving towards others. Let's accept that they're trying to do their best. And you can tell I'm telling myself this, that, yeah, we're going to make mistakes. None of us have done this before. We're going to slip up. We're not going to do things quite right. But I believe that the vast majority of us are trying to do the best we can, that we're trying to figure things out. We're trying to do what we think is best for the people around us. And some of us are going to have to learn the hard way that what we thought was best isn't. And personally, I hope it doesn't get so bad that the hard way is really bad. For those of my brothers and sisters who have a different view on some of this, I love you. I do. I may not agree with you, but I love you. I pray for you. I pray that you're blessed. I pray that God carries us through all of this. I pray that God does great things in the midst of it, that He reveals Himself, that in everything else He is glorified above all. Not me, not any other pastors, not any ministries, but God. That this is everything that happens draws us to Him. That people don't look at us as arrogant, as self centered, as know it alls, but that they see us reflecting His love, His concern for those around us, our passion for Him, our passion to see Him glorified, our passion to see other people come to know Him, and to see them kept safe from harm, and see Him change their lives. That's what I believe almost all of us in ministry are. And yeah, those few anomalies, well, we just don't count them. So keep safe, pray for those around you, those you agree with, those you don't, those who are being smart, those who aren't, those who are doing what you think they should, and those who are doing something different. Let's keep them in prayer. Let's remain unified in love, in following Him, and let's let Him be the one in charge. God bless. Keep God first. God first, obedience, submission, that's all part of Him. Thanks.